we continue to pay our respects to former South African Reserve Bank Governor Tito Mboweni. He will be buried in his hometown of Tzaneen in Limpopo today. Mboweni passed away just a week ago at the age of 65. Now, backed-up reporter covering the funeral, Samkele Maseko, is standing by. Samkele, good morning once again. Perhaps from a different vantage point, you could speak to what is happening on your end as we obviously edge closer to the stadium where the proceedings are going to be taking place after the funeral service at the Catholic Church. But obviously looking at some of his instrumental policy-making frameworks that he, advocated for to provide inclusive growth, inclusive economy at large. How are his friends, family, and his beloveds remembering him as they bid farewell?
Well, Liesl, indeed, it is a somber moment in Limpopo, especially around the areas of Tzaneen, where the former Minister of Labour, the former Governor of the South African Reserve Bank, and the former Minister of Finance, Tito Mboweni, hails from. There are some community members and some members of his political home, the African National Congress, who have gathered. They are sitting on the grandstand, having a bit of chats amongst themselves, obviously probably about the lives and times of Tito Mboweni, who was a community activist in his latter years in life in the area of this particular Tzaneen district, and particularly the area of Magabes Kloof, where he was a resident and residing at, and also going to the areas such as Sasekane village, which is the home village of his mother, whom she grew up there. Ultimately, they then moved to Bodex, which was then named Epodweni because of how the villagers at the time would struggle to pronounce this particular European name. The official program will be happening here at the Nkowa Stadium, where the President of the Republic, Cyril Ramaphosa, will deliver the eulogy. But when you look at the lives and times of Tito Mboweni, you look at some of the government legislation, particularly the labor legislation that he came up with when he was the Minister of Labour within the country. You look at the collective bargaining that was there, that was pioneered by him, and the likes of Mbazi Mamashilowa, who was the General Secretary of the Congress of South African Trade Unions, who also hails from this area of Limpopo in the Vembe areas and the greater Giyani areas, where you would find the likes of Mbazi Mamashilowa. As you do know that Tito Mboweni comes from the Pankoni chieftaincy or royal village of Bakoni. That is where he ultimately grew up in. That is ultimately where he was born. You look at some of the heroes who also hail, and political players who hail from this area of Tzaneen. You look at Castle Matale, who also hails from this particular area. You look at Gertrude Chopin's husband, who also hails from this particular area of Tzaneen, and that will tell you the history that this particular area has. You look at the great kingdom of Gazankulu, the royal and the great traditional leader of the Gazankulu people also came from this particular area of Tzaneen. He was also born here, and this is the land that Tito Mboweni comes from, and which President Ramaphosa will speak about their relationship, working together from the days of the struggle and going towards the first democratic elections within the country.